Good afternoon, Mark Sudduth, HurricaneTrack.com here with your Hurricane Pro and HD video blog for Sunday, the 6th of August, 2017. National Hurricane Center now indicating that Invest Area 90L, a 80% chance of development over the next 48 hours and higher than that over the next 5 days. But I tell you what, I think by the time the next 5 days is over, this is going to be inland somewhere over Mexico here, and maybe even as a hurricane. If we look at the 5-day track area, this is what it looks like. We still have Invest Area 99L with a 50% chance of development down the road. This seems to be diminishing just because conditions out this way are not as favorable as I guess a lot of us thought that they were. But obviously conditions farther to the west, especially in this area in particular, quite a bit more favorable, and so we are seeing the development now of 90L right before our eyes. This is the visible floater image zooming in on the system. You see the coast of the Yucatan over here, the coast of Honduras, and then Nicaragua. And here's our system 90L trying to organize over the very warm waters of the Northwest Caribbean Sea. And if we look at the vorticity signature, this continues to improve with the system becoming more focused and more concentrated. Meanwhile, 99L out here still very much elongated from southwest to northeast. Not a sign of organization at all. Looking at the upper ocean heat content in the Caribbean Sea, very high upper ocean heat content values in the vicinity of where 90L is tracking, and that simply means that there is a lot of available not only surface water that's warm, but that water extends fairly deep into the ocean, not just at the surface, and so we call that high ocean heat content, and some of these values are pretty much at the top of the scale. Looking into the Gulf of Mexico, which is where this will eventually be heading, more than likely something like this over the next several days in this vicinity. Also fairly high upper ocean heat content, obviously not quite as high as what we have in the Northwest Caribbean, but high enough over here near the middle of the scale that this could become a hurricane over time. A lot of the intensity guidance is suggesting that, so we're going to need to watch it very closely. The actual sea surface temperatures, most of the green coloring that you see here, water temperature is about 29 degrees Celsius, and then inside of this sort of yellowish green color, 30 degrees Celsius, so mid to almost upper 80s in terms of the surface skin of the ocean. But then again, if we look at these, this tells us that the water extends deep into the ocean in terms of the warmth. It's not just at the surface. So looking at the different models here, here's the one I want to show you. You get an idea from this, the overall guidance. I wouldn't worry about this purplish one too much, but the rest of them are fairly tightly clustered on a track across the Yucatan and then into the southern Gulf of Mexico, and maybe somewhere near Tampico, plus or minus 150 miles, something like that, in the 72 to 96 hour time frame. And you can see, I mean, by day 5, this will just be a remnant circulation. It'll be dead and gone. But this is well inland over Mexico by the end of the 5-day period. The intensity guidance pretty substantial overall. You can see a pretty good bump here, and then it dips as it goes over the Yucatan, and then a steady increase, more than likely to hurricane intensity as it approaches land, and then right there near that 84-hour mark, boom, it hits land and starts to weaken pretty substantially. The model guidance, I want to show you this. Let me go back to the first one. This is what we have over the next 4 days, and you can see it quickly organizing here in the Northwest Caribbean Sea, starting there, moving across the Yucatan, and then eventually kind of dipping back to the south, just a little bit, just to the south of Tampico. Meanwhile, out here you can see what comes into the frame. There is 99L, and that's really not holding together much at all, so I wouldn't worry about it too much at this juncture. So a lot to keep up with, especially with 90L, especially as it organizes and approaches the Yucatan. May not be too much longer that we see the potential tropical cyclone advisories get initiated. Not sure about that, exactly how that works. Nevertheless, strong winds heavy rains, those bands organizing coming in towards the Yucatan over the next 24 hours or so. That'll be on the increase, and then we'll watch and see how it develops from there. Alrighty, I'll be on top of it and posting videos here to Hurricane Pro in HD over the next several days. And you've got some great tools to take advantage of as well inside the apps. So do that, and you can see what's happening pretty much any time, especially as this becomes eventually very likely a named storm. And by the way, the name would be Franklin, and you can track along all the features that Hurricane Pro and HD offer. Have a great rest of your Sunday. Thanks for tuning in. As always, I'm Mark Sudduth for HurricaneTrack.com. That's my site. And for Hurricane Pro and HD, always an honor to be able to produce these videos for you. I'll have more for you starting tomorrow and the week ahead.